Anna is a mediator for Small Claims Court. She's a member, past board member of the Calgary Community Mediation, past board member for the Volunteer for Peer Mediation Skills Training, member of the ADR Institute of Alberta, committee member for ADR Institute of Canada, member of Government Dispute Resolution Network Committee, CAPLA member, and past committee member. Anna is a chartered mediator and a qualified arbitrator and ADR with ADR Institute of Canada. I need some water. Coreen, as a chartered mediator, Coreen uses a blend of technology and traditional approaches. Coreen holds a high emphasis on engaging hard-to-reach stakeholders and in building capacity with stakeholders and clients to contribute to interest-based conversations with highly collaborative outcomes. Thank you, actually. So you guys are ready? Please, everybody, Coreen and Anna.
Thank you. Right here. Thank you. So this is the Calgary Peace Bridge that I look at every day through my window at downtown at the Alberta Energy Regulator. It's also one of the top things to see on TripAdvisor in Calgary. And you get some great pictures. So this bridge, it reminds me that at the Alberta Energy Regulator, we build bridges between Albertans. That includes energy companies, First Nations, Métis people, and farmers and landowners. In 2001, one of our board members, and also a reservoir engineer at the time, which is kind of cool, he was doing a lot of hearings, and he noticed that the hearings were increasing, and he thought there must be a better way to resolve these types of energy disputes. So what he did was he met with Albertans that included these landowners, energy companies, mediation communities, including David Gould, if he's here today. He helped, and all these people helped, build made an Alberta ADR program for the Alberta Energy Regulator. So this program has evolved from teaching some of our field inspectors at the time who facilitated meetings in the field with landowners and farmers to, in 2004, we decided to hire a team of actual mediators, and that team has grown from 3 to 9. So these mediators, they're located throughout the province in Alberta, and they meet with landowners and farmers locally, and they solve local problems and come up with local solutions. It's been a really successful program. Some of the stats last year, this staff, they completed over 120 files, and those files, really technical files, they can include many pipelines, many facilities, and energy type projects. These mediators, they travel all over the province, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 12 hours to meet with people, which is kind of a cool thing about our job because we actually go to where the people are. We go outside of that meeting room. That's sort of, I think, the typical mediation type of setting. So in Alberta, we regulate the energy industry. Companies, they have to come to the Alberta Energy Regulator to apply for wells facility, pipelines, and oil sand type facilities. I'm just going to show you some pictures so you can kind of understand maybe where the disputes come from. So here's a well site. Here's a well site in a farmer's field. This is a pipeline. This pipeline can be a short pipeline. It can be hundreds of kilometers of pipeline, and so it can affect many Albertans. Here's a multi-well pad site. Here's a facility. This is in probably Fort McMurray, another huge facility in the Fort McMurray area. This would be more southern Alberta shallow gas well tied into a pipeline. And this is a mining facility. So we meet with Albertans in the field. We'll meet with, so here's a picture of a farmer, a mediator, and an oil company. And so we spent a lot of time in pre-meetings. We spend probably 10 times as much time meeting with the parties prior to actually getting the energy company and the farmers together. Also, we also have energy disputes too. This is a setting, a small setting, where we're meeting at a farmer's home. Some of the meetings look like this, and others are big. We'll have like sometimes 50 people in a community hall. So they're a variety of settings. We also bring subject matter experts to our meetings. We count on, we have geologists, we have environmentalists that work at the Alberta Energy Regulator, and some inspectors that we'll meet with. And before we meet with the parties, we also become really knowledgeable about the project, because it really helps us in our mediation. So we do all of this work prior to hopping into our truck to go and meet with the people.
So we thought it would be kind of fun to do a little bit of a day in the life of an AER mediator. There I am in my truck. You recognize me. So what I thought we might do is go on a case. Come with me on a case. So you can come along in my truck with me. I'll tell you a little bit about the case as we're driving up. So this is an energy company wants to put an oil well on Mr. Chibani's property. He doesn't have any development there right now. And so we're going to go have a chit-chat with him. What he shared with me is that he's of two minds. He's a third-generation farmer, and he's got some ailing health concerns, so he's not farming very much right now, looking at retirement. So this proposed development would actually be kind of welcome income right now. He might actually be open to a couple of oil wells on his property, but he's conflicted internally because he also is concerned about the legacy that he's going to be handing to his son, who's taking his agriculture degree and will be interested in taking over the family farm in a couple of years. So he has this internal conflict. The oil and gas company is a small company that is highly invested in the asset. They don't have a lot of other assets. This one's very important to them. They're very respectful of Mr. Chibani, but they don't really get him, and they've asked for some help. So we're going to go meet with them. I've actually invited our field inspector to be part of the conversation as well, so he can handle the technical questions and leave me free to just steward the conversation. So we start talking, lay out the maps. There's some really good understanding. There's some really good sharing. There's some really good listening happening. This is great. And then Mr. Chibani starts talking about legacy. Emotions start to rise. So I suggest we take a break and we go outside. And this is what we see. We put on our boots and we're standing outside having some fresh air. And they start talking about priorities. They start talking about family. They start talking about things that really matter as they're standing there looking at this harvest bounty. There is no noise other than the rustling of leaves on the ground. There's a train whistle off in the distance. And the importance of this quietness really sinks in, and the shift happens. I watch it happen. You guys watched it happen too. We go back inside and we sit down at the kitchen table again, and they're looking at the maps. And now they're looking at solutions that are going to be taken care of. Where can we drill these oil wells where there's a natural visual barrier, where there's natural noise attenuation? Maybe we even add some noise attenuation later. They'll test the well water quality and quantity before and after the drilling. Things are working out. They resolved. They also built understanding. They also built trust with each other. This is important because these wells might be there for 25 plus years. I want them to be able to resolve together future concerns. So we're going to leave you with a couple of thoughts. Before that, I go back to Calgary and I share with my community of practice. I'm telling them the challenges, the successes. We're talking about where can we build efficiencies into our process, and that's my community of practice. Further, we go out into our community of practice in our employees. We bring our subject matter experts to the table. We're bringing ambassadors then from those tables out into our organization. We're doing training day training, week training, hour training, and moving more ambassadors out with these technical folks. Sorry. And we're building up our community of practice with non-mediator folk. So we're going to ask you a couple of questions about where can you look at some of the unique things we think that are unique about the AER-ADR program. Where can you push out your community of practice, maybe into your community, your network, your customers, your non-mediator types? Where can you create some ambassadors about ADR in your communities? Also, where can you bring in your experts to the table that will really help the conversation and bring them in to share their technical expertise at the table? The last one is, where can you take your conversations to the parties? Where can you shake up that venue to a place that holds high content or context for the conversation? So just some of those things we're just gonna put out there, some ideas that you can think about when you're looking at your own practice. So thank you very much for your time, and we're open to any questions.
The first question that I have is, how have you guys gauged so far the success of the ADR in AER?
Well, we have stats. So we have an IT program that we track all of our cases, and we get feedback. And we actually have a new Survey Monkey that's on our AER Talk that's open to anybody, and we can run programs on what people think of our program, on how we mediate it, and yeah, does that answer it?
It certainly does.
Okay.
It certainly does. Do we have any other questions from the crowd? Okay, well, thank you very much, Anna and Coreen.